Hello everyone, it's Beth and welcome back to another video, or welcome if this is your first time joining me. The channel name has changed. I will be going into that in another video. But for now, I wanted to do a quick rundown of the decks and books I'm planning to work with in the month of August. I don't normally choose decks to work with by the month. This is my first time doing that actually. But I wanted to do it because otherwise what I tend to do is just reach for the same one or two decks all the time. And I don't have a huge deck collection, but the ones that I do have, I feel like they deserve a little bit more love, at least some of them. So I want to pull them out more often and work with them. So these are the ones I will be working with personally and sometimes sharing on my Instagram, which there will be a link down below. A little out of breath running up and down the stairs to get stuff, and I have asthma. So without further ado, the first deck that I am planning on working with in the month of August is the Herbcrafter's Tarot. And this is one that I have done some very interesting readings with. It's very hard to angle this. There we go. In the past, but I haven't gone too deeply into, and as I mentioned in my July favorites video, I did a lot of herb crafting, wild crafting of herbs in July, and I want to start making some projects with them, and I will share the projects here. So that's part of what's drawing me to work with this deck. This is the only herbal deck that I currently own. There's a couple of others that are on my radar that I might hope to pick up in the future if things work out for me to do that. It's so hard to put this where it can be seen. Anyway, this is, I can do a walkthrough of this whole deck if anybody's interested, but for now I'm just going to flip through a few of the cards just to show you. And this is the Herbcrafter's Tarot, and it comes with a very nice book that goes into the meanings of the numbers numerologically, and also into the meaning of each herb, things that you can craft with for that herb, so ideas for crafting with the herb, and then also what the message of the herb is for your divination. So it's very nicely done, and this deck is by Latisha Guthrie, and the artwork is by Joanna Powell Colbert. And the next deck that I am planning on working with in the month of August is the Liminal Spirits Oracle by Tempest Zakroff. I got this a couple of years ago, and I have used it, but I feel like I haven't used it enough. And I know that a lot of people are using her Anatomy of the Witch Oracle, but I still have this one, and it's beautiful, and I'd like to give it some attention instead of just running out and getting that one immediately, while I do want to have that one at some point. Look at these gorgeous cards. She is an incredibly talented artist, and I just love her work. And then that also has a pretty good guidebook. It's a full color guidebook, and it shows a full color image of the card, and a little bit about the image on the card, and then also what it means to you, and there's some space for notes even with each one. So that's the second deck, and I'm not overloading myself as I'm only working with 3 decks this month. So the third deck is the Shadowscapes Tarot, and this is a longtime favorite of my wife Jolene's, and I've had it for a while. I've had a copy of it for a while. I'm really bad at showing these without mushing my fingers all over it, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just not practiced at it yet. Hopefully I'll get better. That seems to be a better method. This is gorgeous artwork. This deck is by Stephanie. I never get her name, the pronunciation of her name right. Stephanie Min-La. A lot of you have probably seen this deck already, but I will do a walkthrough of this or any of the other decks I mentioned if you like, or even if you don't like and I decide to do it, I might do it. because that's how I roll. And then this also has, this guidebook is by Barbara Moore, so it's very, very good. It's poetic. It tells the story of the characters through the progression of the tarot, but at the same time, it doesn't go too far from the Rider-Waite if you're used to that system. I'm very much enjoying getting to know this deck, and I will hopefully report back. Maybe I'll do some deck reviews on these decks in September after I've worked with them. So, now what else was I going to mention? Books. So the first book I want to mention, and the only book that I actually have a physical copy of at this time, is Elemental Witchcraft by Heron. I got this book, I think last year, 2 years ago. When is the copyright of it? Hang on a second, let me check. Copyright of this book is 2021, so I think I got it. It might have been 2 years ago, because I feel like I have a memory of getting it shortly after it came out, because I wanted a really meaty book on elemental witchcraft, and that's what this calls itself. And it is very, very meaty, and I quickly decided it was too meaty for me at that time. There's a lot of diagrams in it. The author is a self-trained witch who basically took some of the material in, she studied the material in Christopher Penczak's Temple of Witchcraft books, which I love that series also. And then she just went as deep as she possibly could into some of the things that he presented there. And this is the first result of that. She said that she has a book on lunar magic coming, which I'm very much looking forward to. But this one I'm trying to work with right now, and my wife is trying to work with it as well, both of us, as far as we're able to. There is a lot in here. There's a lot. And as you can see, we've done, I don't know if you can see actually, but we've both done a lot of note-taking in it. Let me just find a good example of that. You could see some of this. Some of it is us griping about some of the issues we had with it. We had a lot of issues with it as well, but we also really like a lot of it too, and it's very thought-provoking. So we're about halfway through this now, and just started to pick it up again and try to start using it for the Sabbats that started, or using this again, started with the Sabbat of Lammas, and seeing how that tide is going to build towards Maven, and working with this for that. So I might be posting a little bit more about this book. The author does have a YouTube channel too, which I encourage you to check out. She has some lectures about the book on there that I still need to listen to. But it's very deep. It's not a fast read. It's a very in-depth, thorough read. She is a very intelligent, very erudite person, and I highly respect her, even though I don't agree with everything in here. But this is a study. It's a real study. So there's that. We're working on that. And then the other books are all on Scribd. And let me get my notebook because I don't want to forget to mention the authors. And they are Modern Witchcraft with the Greek Gods by Jason Mankey and Astraea Taylor. And I started reading this a while ago. I'm still working my way through it. I want to get a physical copy at some point, but for right now I'm just working my way through some of the, it has sections on, as you would think by the title, pretty much all of the Greek gods and many of the, like all of the Olympians and a lot of the more minor gods, including a lot of nymphs, heroes, titans, and there is usually also an essay from somebody who has worked with that being, and then some tips for working with them in a witchcraft practice. So it's a very good book. That also is not a quick read. It's something that you pick up and nibble at a little and then put it down again, digest it and come back. I'm reading a novel called The Cloisters by Katy. I'm not finding that I have as much patience or bandwidth for fiction this month as I did last month, at least so far, but I do want to finish that because it's a fascinating setting. It's set in the Cloisters in New York, the Met Museum Cloisters, and has to do with tarot. So I'm fascinated to find out where it's going. It's getting off to a little bit of a slower start, but I do plan to try to finish that. And then the other book that I just started reading that I want to work with in August is Finding the Fool by Meg Jones-Wall. And I'm not a newbie to tarot by any means. I've done readings professionally. I'm not offering them right now. I'm taking a break, but I have done readings professionally for a number of years, but I'm always looking to enrich and deepen my practice, and that's reading this is part of it. It's a little challenging. It will challenge you if you pick it up. I really love her spreads that she creates. She's got an Instagram where she shares some of those. If you want to check that out, I do plan on trying to use some of those for myself. So again, highly recommended. And that's it for now. As always, I may change my mind. I might add in other things. But as we begin the month of August, this is what I'm planning on working with. And that's it for this video. And until next time, blessed be.